Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our cap table clinic on how to automate your safe fundraising loop. My name is Andrea, and I run customer success at Mantle. And I'm also joined today by Amit, who is one of our co-founders. So, you've got a real expert in the house. A couple quick housekeeping notes before we start. The session is being recorded and you'll have it sent to you via email afterwards. We've reserved 10, 15 minutes at the end for questions, but feel free to drop questions in the chat as we go along. And as I mentioned, if you want to follow along, head over to withmantle.com and you can sign up for that starter account and build along with us today. All those steps we're going through today are available in our free plan. Even if you don't have a cap table yet, or you're just using a spreadsheet, feel free to jump on in. All right, so what is the problem that we are looking to solve today? Let's talk about why we're here. For most founders, closing a round isn't a single event. It's usually a week-long scavenger hunt across a couple different browser tabs. You're juggling investors, lawyers, stakeholders, and more. And it's a very manual loop that looks like landing the investor. It looks like you're going through several pitches and rounds of conversations. Finally, you land on a term sheet. It makes sense to you. Okay, let's lock in. Now you have to go hunting for a template. You're looking through your legal folders, through your inbox, through your Google Drive, looking for that right YC template. Then you have to go and lock down signatures. You know that it's always fun getting people to follow up with documents. You're copying and pasting terms into Word docs. You're PDFing it. You're signing up for DocuSign. You're paying extra subscription fees just so that you can get agreements out for e-signature. And then come the spreadsheet gymnastics. You open up that master cap table spreadsheet that you have, and you're trying to remember how to model a $5 million cap versus a $7 million cap without breaking the formulas that you took over from someone else who no longer is anywhere to be found. Now, finally, you can go and update your cap table. Once it's finally signed, the safe says it's in your downloads folder for 3 weeks. You archive the email, the link expires for DocuSign, the cap table is basically a lie until you can manually type those numbers into your spreadsheet or forward it all over to your lawyer. There are lots of costs that come with this, not just financial, but dilution blindness. You're signing safes, aka giving away equity in your company, without seeing what the actual total at the bottom of the bill is. So you don't know what your leftover ownership is until the round is complete. There are going to be gaps in diligence. When you finally go to raise your price round, you realize that you were missing a signature somewhere or a spreadsheet was rounded incorrectly, and now you've got to call your lawyer, which is going to be a couple $100 an hour. And it takes your focus away from building. Like you started this business because you are a CEO that has a vision or a co-founder, but now you're spending your Sunday afternoon or your Sunday evening acting like a manual data entry clerk, bouncing between Excel and DocuSign. What we are going to show you today is how you can collapse that entire fragmented mess into one automated loop in Mantle. Quick refresher on what a safe is. We're going to have a mix of experience in the room, so we want to make sure that everyone's on the same page. A SAFE, which stands for a simple agreement for future equity, is the YC invented instrument that's become kind of the default for early stage rounds in US and Canada. It's not debt. It doesn't have a maturity date, and it doesn't accrue interest. It's just an agreement that converts into equity at a future price round, usually based on a valuation cap, a discount, or both. Typically, founders will reach for a safe. It's quick, it's simple. There's just a handful of terms to negotiate. If you're in a pre-seed or seed round and you're raising on conviction as opposed to metrics, it's going to be a lot easier to do that with a safe. It's going to help you bridge gaps between those price rounds where you need some extra money, but you don't want an entire round. And strategic checks from angels or operators when you don't want to negotiate a full price round. So before, when you would be issued a safe kind of like the old-fashioned way, there would be five moving parts or so in five different places around your computer and around your inbox that you would have to navigate. You'd have to be guessing Excel formulas, hunting through Google Drive. You're doing things retroactively that you've forgotten to do in the past. You're paying for multiple subscriptions like DocuSign, and above all else, there's the risk of manual errors. With Mantle, we offer you a term sheet modeler built right into the platform so that you take away a lot of that guesswork. Custom or built-in templates. We've got a couple YC safe templates already preloaded, built-in workflows that you can take advantage of. We have our own internal e-signature system, so no need for that additional DocuSign subscription just to get a couple safe signed. And best of all, Mantle auto updates the cap table after every tranche or every activity that happens. So now let's take a look at how this actually goes in Mantle. I'm gonna hop out of the screen and hop over to a Mantle instance. So this is a home screen that you would land on. And then more importantly, this is your cap table. So your cap table is in a good place because at Mantle, we offer white glove setup. Uh, as an aside, if you are signing up for the starter plan, you're able to do all of this on your own as well. We've got help documents that can help you, as well as a demo video to kind of give you that walkthrough. So we're looking at our cap table, and we're thinking about all of those spreadsheet gymnastics that we were doing previously and wondering if there's a better way. And there is. We head over to this model scenarios button, and now we are landed in Mantle's term sheet modeler. What we can do here is add in our proposed safe details, and in one click, Mantle's going to show you a pro forma cap table. So let's say we're looking to raise $2 million on a $10 million post-money valuation, which is $8 million pre-money. We're looking to have a 10% option pool, and then we're adding in that safe. So let's give Giselle Knowles an extra $1 million safe, but she's coming in at that pre-money valuation. So you get the $8 million valuation cap, and then you head over to your pro forma. You've got all of your estimates here. You've got your fully diluted share count, what the percentages would look like after those calculations have happened. So this gives you a good idea of what to expect in terms of how ownership percentages change with a new safe coming in. When you are in the very early stages, another thing to consider is that your board might just be you and your co-founders. It might feel a little bit silly to have to sign a document approving something that you do for yourself, but corporate formalities do matter. And when you go to raise your next round, investors are going to perform their due diligence and make sure that you have a board consent for every single safe that you have issued. You can combine multiple safes into a single board approval if you wish. Uh, and if we were to give you a piece of advice, our golden rule would be to get board approval before the company and investor signs the document. A common mistake that founders make is signing a safe, taking the money, and then asking the board to approve it 3 weeks later, which causes too much room for error. And it's just best to stay safe and get the board approvals early in the process. Uh, Keeping in mind, board approvals aren't just for safes. You'll need them for things like increasing your option pools, issuing option grants while hiring. So that's something that you're going to want to consult with your law firm for about more details. But we do have a board action section that is included in the Mantle platform where you can issue those actions for signature. So let's actually go and draft a safe now. So we head to the safes, we go to draft safe, select draft. I'm going to draft a safe for King K. Rool. We're going to give him a purchase amount of, let's say, $50,000. Uh, Something to note when you are pulling up your safe templates. Depending on what you fill in, only certain templates are going to be made available. So uh, if you have no discount, then you're going to have the value cap template pop up. If you have a uh, if you have a discount and no val cap, then you're going to get the discount rate template. And if you have no discount and no val cap, then you're going to get the most favored nation template pop up. So let's give this a let's give him a discount of 25%, which means that we would put 75 into here. We've got a discount rate template. Pop in a board approval date. Let's say this happened back in March and was issued in May. And we will create our draft. So now you can see it's ready for signature. I'm going to preview it. Takes a couple minutes while it's generating the document, but now you can see we've got King K. Rool's name in there. We've got a space down here for me as the CEO to sign as well once King has signed. So we're going to check it off, review it, and now I'm going to hit confirm, and this is going to send it off to King to sign. And with that, I will actually be handing that over to Mr. King himself, aka Amit, who will show you how the signing portion goes on the stakeholder side.
Thank you, Andrea. And I think something that folks may not realize is all of this looks very simple, and that's because we approached it from first principles, right? Like we've lived through the pain of doing this manually. It takes a lot of corralling. Everything Andrea described in terms of like you're probably going to have a spreadsheet, a Google sheet. You've got a Google Drive folder or a local folder. You've got DocuSign going. You've got all these Word document templates. You're probably talking to your lawyers, and you've got a board approval. There's just so many things that need to come together in order for you to just get a single safe executed. And the reality is when you're doing a proper round, you have allocations and you have multiple investors. So you're doing this like 8, 10, 15 times, right? Depending on how many participants you've got. So we're showing you one example. I'm going to take over the screen share for a quick minute here and show what the investor flow looks like. This is obviously very important because you need it to be easy for the investors to actually make this happen. So you're looking at my screen now, my inbox. I'll just zoom in a bit. So I have the signature requested email. The safe is obviously referenced as, safe 3 in this case. I'm going to click on review and sign. It takes me to the platform. This is a live platform, right? I will quickly review it. I'm participating as an individual, so obviously these fields are blank as expected. If it's an institution, that would be different. We're doing 50,000 on there's no val cap, so we just went with discount rate, and I'm happy with that as an early stage investor. If I'm coming in and getting a discount, that sounds pretty good to me. I would just kind of verify the details here, scroll through everything here, as mentioned, just straight up YC template, no gotchas. And what that also does for you is it reduces that, what lawyers call redlining, like the legal back and forth that can happen. You don't really have to go through that. It's a well understood template. It's been in market for, I don't know, 12, 14 years now, something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and sign it. I've signed a document before, so it brings in my stamp automatically, and I'm going to go complete. And it's really that simple. Like it just, we made it really easy, really straightforward. I click on continue. I'm brought to my portfolio. I have another safe that I had signed, so that's obviously fully executed and shows as outstanding. But this particular one is showing pending signatures because we're going to go back to Andrea's screen and we're going to see what happens next.
Perfect. All right, so Amit, aka King, went ahead and signed his portion. And so I received an email prompting me to come and sign. So now I will click on that. I'm landed into the document. I see that something has already been signed for a King K. I can click here, sign with my signature, and now this document is complete. And once it's complete, it's going to upload it directly into the data room. So come here, and we did this once before, so we've done it again, and you see safe number 3 has been generated, and it's linked to that safe. So, once the safe has been fully signed, it's going to automatically update. It's going to be reflected in your cap table. And, this is just the overview of the end-to-end flow. Um, you know, we are we built this product because our co-founders know the pain of having to manage cap table and all of the pieces that come with it. And so when you are working in Mantle, you're really working inside of a product that was built to be solution forward from people who know exactly what it is that you're going through. That being said, I hop back over here to our presentation. Three main takeaways from today's clinic. And as mentioned, we're going to include a video of this recording. It won't have the Q&A, so feel free to ask any questions that you want, and it won't be shared with anyone who wasn't here. But your three main takeaways from today: model your dilution. As mentioned, equity is the most valuable and finite resource that your company has. You don't want to make the mistake of giving away too much too early on. And tools like Mantle's term sheet modeler will be your best friend in ensuring that's not what you do. You want to make sure that you get your board approvals first before anything else is signed. It's just good practice and a good thing to use across safes, equity plans, option grants, everything. And then keep your cap table updated. It's a living and breathing document. It should be the source of truth when it comes to your company's ownership breakdown. And, tracking in a spreadsheet is an option, but when there are free platforms out there that make things really easy, kind of a no-brainer to take advantage of those tools. I would recommend starting as early as possible just so you minimize any risk of gaps or errors and truly just make it easier on yourself to keep things updated because those errors can snowball and get very expensive later on. As mentioned, we have some time for Q&A. We've got a founder in the room, so if you've got some real specific questions about your business, now's a great time to get his ear.